My name is Dorothy, and I'm a librarian at the Thomas Crane Library in Quincy. I'm here today to tell you about a book I think you might enjoy, The Other's Gold by Elizabeth Ames. In The Other's Gold, we follow a group of 4 friends who meet their freshman year of college and quickly become inseparable. The book is structured around a terrible mistake that each one of the friends makes. Some of them are pretty disturbing. This book is perfect for anyone who enjoys well-written female characters or beautiful settings in their fiction, and I especially think that if you're a fan of Liane Moriarty or Anne Tyler or Donna Tartt, you will really enjoy this debut by Elizabeth Ames. Like I mentioned before, this novel is available as an ebook on Overdrive or from the Libby app. If you need any help downloading the app or accessing this book, please feel free to give us a call, or you can chat with a librarian at thomascranelibrary.org. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoy.
I'm Jessie, and I work at the Thomas Crane Library. The book I want to recommend today is John Carreyrou's Bad Blood: Secrets and Lies in a Silicon Valley Startup. This is a great read for anyone who enjoys a work of nonfiction that turns terrific reporting into a really satisfying mix of white-collar villainy, suspense, character study, and ego run amok, all set in San Francisco's World Center for High Technology, Innovation, Venture Capital, and Social Media. Maybe you've heard of her. The main character, young college dropout turned wonderkind Elizabeth Holmes, who founded the health technology company Theranos in 2003, promising to deliver a range of rapid response blood tests that would require only tiny blood samples that would be analyzed using the company's own small automated devices. 15 years later, the company crashed and burned, and the once adored and strangely deep-voiced billionaire and CEO, along with her second-in-command, were charged with multiple counts of wire fraud. And the company's big-name investors that included George Shultz, the former director of the U.S. Office of Management and Budget, collectively lost millions of dollars. No, I'm not giving anything away. Knowing the arc of this modern-day cautionary tale just ratchets up the tension as the author and prize-winning Wall Street Journal reporter John Carreyrou sweeps you up in this saga of greed and overreach. Really, you could not make this stuff up. You can find Bad Blood in book and audio by going to the library website and searching by title or author on Overdrive. Happy reading.
Hi everyone, Shane here, and today on Shane's Suggestions I'll be telling you a little bit about a book I just finished, the sci-fi classic Childhood's End, published in 1953 and written by the late great Arthur C. Clarke. So, as you can probably tell by this book cover, Childhood's End is a first contact story. But unlike other works of fiction that focus on alien invasion, this book is not an account of humanity's survival under extraterrestrial occupation. Instead, the book asks the question, what would happen if mankind was forced by alien overlords into a golden age, in which war, disease, and poverty were all eradicated in exchange for a complete stop to man's ability to explore space? Sounds like a pretty good deal, right? Well, actually no. Not really. There's way more to the picture than what meets the eye, and while I really want to talk about all the book's many surprising and sometimes bewildering plot twists on the chance of me ruining the experience for first-time readers, I'll just say that for anyone interested in reading probably the shortest book about a fictional account of man's fate and their true place in outer space, I suggest you let Childhood's End be your vessel.
Welcome! My name is Amanda, and I'm one of the children's librarians at the Thomas Crane Public Library in Quincy, Massachusetts. This video is part of our DIY Children's Program resources. For more program resources, as well as ebooks, streaming movies, TV, music, and much more, please visit thomascranelibrary.org. Today, we're going to make a type of slime called oobleck. Oobleck is what you get when you mix cornstarch and water in just the right amounts. This isn't like slime you make with glue, but it does behave in some fun ways. Oobleck gets its name from a Dr. Seuss book, and while it might look like a liquid, it doesn't always behave like one. Oobleck is what we call a non-Newtonian fluid, which is a fancy way of saying that sometimes it flows like a liquid and sometimes it's more like a solid. For this activity, you only need a few things. You need some cornstarch, you need some water, you'll need a bowl, and if you want to add food coloring, you can do that too. Let's get everything together and let's get started. We're going to start with a shallow container. We're going to be mixing our oobleck inside. Let's start out with some cornstarch. We're not going to be measuring things out right now. Want a good pile there. You're definitely going to want some paper towels while you do this. See how it's stuck all over my fingers? I've put down a tray as well, so that I don't make too much of a mess. Now, I'm going to add some water. Now I'm going to use my hands to mix it up. Notice as I mix it, it clumps and gets gooey and ooky. That's sort of what we're looking for. We want to make sure we mix it nicely. You can see it's still kind of liquid on top. We're going to be adding some food coloring so you can see it a little better. You can see it running off my hands. The nice thing about this is that it will dry off and brush right off your hands. Let's see, what color should we make our oobleck today? I think we'll go with blue. I don't have a specific amount of cornstarch or of water that I'm using. I'm doing it by feel. Now I know, just feeling this, you can see it's a little too liquid. It's not behaving like oobleck yet. So we're going to add more cornstarch and mix it in. See how it starts to get clumpy and breaks up? But then it oozes down out of my hand. Doesn't it look like glue? And yet, when I touch it, I can pat it, and it doesn't behave at all like water. Now over here, I don't have as much mixed in, and when I pat it, you can see it make ripples as if it's just water. But when I pat where there's more cornstarch, it's like a solid. Let's pick some up and play with it. You can break it apart and then let it drip again. Why does this happen? Well, part of it has to do with the cornstarch. This wouldn't happen if we were just mixing, say, sugar or salt into water. Those dissolve. Cornstarch doesn't dissolve in water. Instead, all the little bits of the cornstarch that are in the water are floating in there. They're suspended in the water. I'm gonna add a little more cornstarch. Because they're suspended in the water, if you touch them in just the right way, all those little particles of cornstarch start to act more like solid cornstarch than they act like liquid water. Because both are present here, both the water and the cornstarch. See, as I'm breaking it apart, and then it's acting like a liquid again to flow out of my fingers. Watch it go from a solid into a liquid. And what looked like a solid mass in my hands will start to drip and ooze. But I can break it apart and then watch those edges turn right into a liquid again. Now, part of this has to do with the cornstarch. It also has to do with static electricity. We're not going to go too far into that. What you need to know is that when you act on it quickly, like breaking it or hitting it, it behaves like a solid. But if you act on it slowly, it will behave like a liquid. Letting it drip, moving your finger into it, dipping your finger into it. Whereas if you hit it, it's more like a solid. Oobleck is a lot of fun to play with. I would recommend, like I've said before, putting down a tray or some towels before you play with it. But the great thing about Oobleck is, after you make a mess, you can peel it right off. Now, when you're getting rid of your Oobleck after you're done playing with it, don't just dump it down the sink. You want to make sure that you dilute it enough with more water. The more water you add, the more like a liquid it behaves until it's indistinguishable from any other liquid. Play with your Oobleck. See just how much cornstarch you need to add before it starts behaving like a solid. Let us know if you do this yourself at home. See what you can do with your Oobleck. You can always let us know on Facebook or use the Contact Us form on the Thomas Crane Library website. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Hello, and welcome to Boredom Busters with Miss Sam. Today we're going to be making our very own DIY skee ball machines out of recycled materials. So let's talk materials first. For this craft you're going to need a big box just like this, kind of more long and rectangular, and obviously our good friend duct tape. And you're also going to need some scissors and something to prop up your skee ball machine so that you can make some sort of ramp so that you can roll the ball up it. And you're also going to need something to cut the holes for your skee ball machine. So if you have a X-Acto knife at home or a box cutter, that would be great. I don't have that. So we're going to work with what we have, and for me, that's a kitchen knife. So we'll see how that goes. And lastly, of course, you're going to need a ball to roll up the ramp and to play with. So let's move on. All right, so let's get into the crafting portion. So to start, I'm going to say that the adults should take the reins on this one. I don't want any kids wielding knives or X-Acto knives or any kind of knives in the house. So you're going to use your knife to, whatever knife you got, to pierce and make holes in this cardboard. So we'll see how this goes. This is an experiment. Okay. And I'm just gonna make a hole near the top, but not at the top. And it doesn't have to be a perfect circle. Just do the best that you can. Okay. And honestly, for a first try, That doesn't look too bad. Not too shabby. And you can always make more circles. I might make one more, just so that there's variety. But if you want to do the typical skee ball and make one in the upper corner as well, other upper corner, if you want to assign points to them, feel free. Go as creative as you want to be. So I'm going to make one more hole. And honestly, I'm surprised at how well this knife worked. It's older than I am, so it's a good tool. But now that you have your actual board already, we're gonna need to make something to prop it up. I mean, I guess you could always just lean it against the wall, but it's not very sturdy. See, it's just gonna fall down. So you're gonna need to construct some poles. And I'm using toilet paper rolls because I love using toilet paper rolls for crafts. But you can always use, if you don't want to make your own, you can always just use a bunch of old books to prop it up, or honestly, whatever you want. Another box, or I don't know, just stacks of other things. But I'm just going to take this time to stack to use the scissors and cut the duct tape. We'll see how that goes. And wrap them up on top of each other. So we'll see how that goes. It's not too bad. Doesn't have to be perfect. All about the experience. See, this one's actually a little crooked, but that's okay. As long as it mostly works. And we're just gonna cut another piece to do the other pole, because one pole is not gonna be enough. But if you wanna have your kids try and experiment with that, feel free. And then you can talk about why 2 poles are better than 1. And we'll flip that around. Ugly, but functional. So now we have our 2 poles. Yay, rah rah. And we're going to try to tape them, I guess, to the back of the board. And we'll see how this goes. Which is turning out to be my catchphrase. And I'm learning that I am so good with these scissors. It's a hint of sarcasm there for all those watching. So I think what I'm going to do, instead of taping around the whole edge of the pole, is I'm going to kind of fold it in on itself like this, like if you were using regular tape, and just kind of make a little hole like this, and just tape it onto the top, so that way it like mostly sticks. And we'll see how that works with it. So see, just sticking it like that. And we'll see if that works. And you want to kind of stick it in the corners. So I'm going to try doing the other one. And again, with my masterful scissor skills. Oh my gosh. Hopefully I'll get better at this over time. Practice makes perfect. Okay, so we're just gonna do that again and stick it to the bottom of the thing, the board. So now it kind of looks like this. It might not be that sturdy, so we'll try it out. I'm just gonna put it down here. and it is actually a little wobbly. So this is where, actually, no, it is pretty wobbly. So I'm going to reinforce it with tape. But at least it's like having a rough draft so that you get the poles stuck to it, at least. So I'm just gonna reinforce it over here with tape so that it's stuck more aggressively, I guess. That's so much better. Yeah. Okay, and then obviously you want to do both sides. So you don't want to have a wobbly, one-sided skee ball machine. Who would want that? Just gonna make sure it stands up tall. Okay, that is so much better. Yes, so definitely reinforce with tape. 100%. And these are things that we find out along the way. But my skee ball machine, although it's pretty plain, like I said, you can decorate it, have the kids color it, go crazy, make it a whole afternoon activity. But I'm going to try to roll it up and see if I can get any points. Since we're basically done here, you have your rough draft ready to go. So let's see if I can get, whoop, get some points. Ready, set, go. Okay, apparently I can't. So I'll have to keep practicing, and let me know how your skee ball machines go, and I'd love to see any designs that you guys make. So good luck.
Hey everyone, Shane here, reference librarian at the Thomas Crane Library, and on this screencast I'm going to show you how to browse ebooks by their category in Hoopla. Now before we get to Hoopla, let's begin by setting up an account. Here we have the Thomas Crane Library website, thomascranelibrary.org, and since we're looking for ebooks, we're going to go to Books and select Read Now. So here we have the ebook page. We're going to scroll down to the grid where our ebook services are and find Hoopla. Here we find information on what Hoopla is, how to register and log in, and Hoopla's borrowing policies. So now that we know how to access Hoopla, let's start browsing some ebooks. So here we have Hoopla's home page. From here we're going to find Browse, which is located to the left of the search bar, and select eBooks. So here we have the ebook section. While this screencast is focused on browsing categories, you also have the option to browse through their recommended, featured, and popular sections as well. Now for categories, we can see that Hoopla has many different types of ebooks. So let's click on one to see what their selection looks like. So it looks like Hoopla has amassed quite a true crime selection with over 1,500 titles to choose from. We can narrow our search by selecting one of the subcategories or using the sort by function. And while it hasn't been captured, you can sort by popularity, alphabetically, user rating, date added, and release date. A few of these functions are located on the sidebar as well. So now once you've decided on an ebook to read, simply click the book, from here you can either borrow the ebook or select the heart icon, which puts the title in your favorite folder for you to read later. And that concludes the screencast on browsing ebooks in Hoopla. Thank you all for watching, and take care.